2, 3, 4, test, 1, 2.
We want to make a big point that it's time for them to give us our rights and give us marriage equality. It may not come in the Parliament very soon. We have a bill coming forward in June from the Greens, and we want to get that as wide a level of support as we possibly can.
I don't know, I've been excited to be involved in this campaign for so long, to see people continue to come out and oppose the bigots in Parliament. And from what we've heard, we're about to have an even worse homophobe in Parliament, one who is threatened by homosexuality, Tony Abbott. But that is not going to stop us from fighting for what is rightfully ours, equal rights and equal access to marriage, to be able to marry or not whoever the hell we want to. And to everyone in Parliament, June 6th is your chance to back down, give us equal rights, or we will be hounding you through the election. I hope everyone has a fantastic day today as we reclaim Oxford Street for ourselves, and keep the spirit of defiance in mind as we approach what is otherwise, could be a pretty upsetting election year where we're being presented with homophobe 1 and homophobe 2 for Prime Minister.
I think we need to acknowledge the fact that there have been incredible wins around the world. Somebody mentioned that Minnesota has become the 12th American state, that New Zealand has passed marriage equality, and it's congratulations to New Zealand. It's so important. New Zealand and Uruguay and France have passed the marriage equality bill. I don't know if anyone was following the way that in New Zealand the bill was very carefully worded so that it did not exclude people who are transgender and intersex. And that's absolutely important.
Well, what an absolute farce the state of our Parliament is. It's been almost 9 years since a Liberal Howard government passed the Marriage Amendment Act with bilateral support amongst both the Labor and Liberal parties. And not much has changed since then in the Canberra circus. Seats have shifted, masks have been passed around, but the same bigotry, transphobia and homophobia fuels government, whether Liberal or Labor, as they ignore that almost 70% of the public support marriage equality, and as they do their best to stifle and sterilise this growing grassroots movement of ordinary people, queers and allies alike. And speaking of allies, I just want to say my mum travelled 5 hours down to be here, so thanks Mum, she's the best ally I could ever have. And that's because not only should government allow marriages between people of any gender, but that government has no right to know how those involved identify anyway. Most people openly identify as a particular gender, but whether someone discloses their gender to you is their right and their right alone, and it's certainly none of the government's business. So, marriage equality should be seen not only as a step towards greater acceptance of homosexuality, but as towards the dismantling of gender discrimination in general, and that's what makes this so important for our whole community. Parliament has been forced to take actions on issues of LGBTI rights in the past only when public pressure is on them. Some have called marriage equality inevitable. I think the only thing inevitable is that feeble, spineless pollies remain so without rambunctious grassroots democracy nipping at their heels, and that's the popular spirit of change that I see when I look around at this vibrant, fabulous, awesome crowd. So let's be big, let's be loud, let's be clear. Julia Gillard, Tony Abbott, you don't represent the people like you claim to, you don't have our best interests at heart, you don't respect diversity, and you don't respect democracy. We want equality, and we have told you 1,000 times in 1,000 ways. So when we win this, it will be our victory, not the victory of whatever politician happens to be in the power at the time. We will never forget that it was us who won this, and it was you who tried to defy us every step of the way. There is power in the people.
Marriage equality has become a football that is being tossed around like a hot potato, where political parties such as the ALP put up a platform that calls to marriage equality and then water it down by giving everybody a conscious vote instead of standing by their policy. What we can say about the coalition, which is riddled with religious produce excuses and disputes over whether they can even have a conscience vote. We have two leaders who insist that marriage should only be between a man and a woman, while clinging to religious values of pre-modernism. This is particularly true for our PM, who is a self-confessed non-believer and should not be pandering to these archaic beliefs. This is just a ploy to keep him in good with the Conservative voters. It's time that politicians moved away from the religious restrictions of the past and into the 21st century and the more enlightened views of the modern world. 80% of young people under 24 believe in marriage equality, and I see you here today. While even a majority of people, 62%, also agree with marriage equality. Yet only the Greens have stood unflinchingly beside the LGBTI community and call consistently for full rights and marriage equality for our community. It is the coalition, many older people and the powerful religious right who are strongly opposed to allowing LGBTIQ people to have the same rights as the rest of the community. It is time these conservative groups understood that times have changed and society must embrace and support all its members, whatever their sexual preference and their gender identity. Until this happens and full equality is reached, we will never be free of discrimination and homophobia. Homophobia is insidious, and like racism, it often bubbles under the surface of mainstream society. Being gay is still used as an insult and threat against young people who dare to be different, and we must never forget its constant presence. We must never forget that in some countries, being gay can lead to torture and the death sentence. The hard job now is to lobby the coalition and ask them to at least call for a conscience vote. This will take a concerted effort, and I urge you all to put all the pressure on the pollies you can over the next couple of weeks, getting them to vote with their hearts, not with religious bigotry, is what we need. It could be a game changer. It needs to happen now. It may not be happening before the federal election, but let's make this attempt. I think it's the fourth attempt for this bill. Let's make the figures change. Let's make it more for us and less for them. We can't wait forever. We're not going to. Marriage equality now. Get your MPs to support Adam's bill on the 6th of June. Thank you.
Marriage is a civil right! Gay, straight, legal right! Marriage is a civil right! Gay, straight, legal right! Marriage is a civil right! 1, 2, 3, 4! That's the vote of voting for!
Want to go again?
Everyone off the road now, please.
Oh, I'm sure I would have. I like to. Do you want to talk a little bit? Oh, sure. No.
So how did the rally go today?
We're quite happy with how the rally went today in terms of policing aspect.
Yeah, no problems?
No problems.
Outside.